Hey everyone, Mrhappy here, and welcome to Mondays with Mrhappy, aka Mrhappy Mondays, a weekly Q&A show where you ask me questions and I answer them. If you're wondering why I'm talking like this, it's because it is basically 1 in the morning right now. I couldn't sleep. It's been a busy week for me, and I've been getting to bed very late, so I haven't had time to work on things in the morning, and I've been spending my evenings doing other things. So I'm doing this at 1 in the morning because, quite frankly, it was the first time it crossed my mind. I didn't even really remember that it was Sunday going into Monday. So this is 1 a.m. on Monday. I just got to knock this out real quick, so we're going to do a lightning round style video. I'm just going to be reading through the questions without putting any of the hashtags on the screen, but I'll try to get through as many of the questions as I can in as quick a time frame as possible because it is very late and I do not want to wake Sophie if I can afford to. So, there's going to be a Magic Spoon ad for this video. That's going to play before the first question begins, and thanks to the patrons for supporting. I haven't really been uploading a whole lot lately because, like I said, I've just been busy. I went away for a few days. I came back. My schedule's been a little bit messed up, and I've had some other things going on. Just haven't had any time to work on anything. So hopefully I will manage to find some time. May have to make some schedule changes to make sure that happens in the coming days. So hopefully I will be able to do it. But thanks to them for continuing to support because, you know, it's appreciated. You don't owe me anything. So, you know, of course, I'm going to say thank you. But with that, if you have questions for next week, be sure to put them in the comment section of the video below. Put a hashtag next to them so I know that they're a question. And with that, enjoy the Magic Spoon ad, and then I'll be back for the rapid fire Q&A. Before we get started, the sponsor for this video is Magic Spoon. Yeah, they sponsor my videos a lot, and I'm super grateful for it. I mean, they make a high-protein cereal and snack products that anyone can enjoy for any diet, and that matters a lot to me, especially in the last few years. I get a box every month, and I use it to shake up my daily eating, though admittedly, sometimes I go a little overboard. I actually went through the treat bars so fast this month that the only footage I have of me eating one is on my podcast. Yeah, I just ate the rest of them before recording because I couldn't stop myself. Fortunately, I love a handful of their cereal just as much, so I saved some of my favorite flavor, the maple waffle flavor, to eat some of that for this ad. So if you'd like to try Magic Spoon while also supporting the channel, then click the link below to get some today. Build your own custom box of products with tons of available flavors. Definitely recommend the maple waffle if you're getting some cereal to match your daily needs. Best of all, use my link and discount code Mrhappy to get $5 off your box. You can also buy it at your local grocery store or even on Amazon if that's more convenient for you. And if you don't like it, Magic Spoon has a 100% happiness guarantee. Let them know and they'll refund you, no questions asked. So click the link below or scan the QR code on the screen and use code Mrhappy to get $5 off, or go to magicspoon.com/Mrhappy to save $5 on your order. It even works in Canada and the UK. Thanks again to Magic Spoon for sponsoring, and on with the video. All right, let's get started. Hashtag Mondays with Mrhappy. Hello, quantum is going to be something that's going to be contentious for a bit, and this is something I've been thinking about. The reward system isn't the best that we have. But do you think that the variable difficulty system gives it more room for it? For example, since the harder difficulties only give more chances of getting items, but the lower ones are easier to clear, if they just put some more stuff into it, maybe like a glam set, there shouldn't be any power behind unless they iron out what they want to do with the system. Would the difference between those two, if it was just Q15 versus Q40, be meaningful? The thing is everything between 16 and 39 is arguably not that useful to program into the game. So that's really where the problem is. But I do think that the idea that more difficulty means better chance at loot means that there should be several things people are after in there that aren't strictly cosmetics and mounts. I really do think there should be some deep dungeon equipment in there that makes you stronger inside of a deep dungeon, gives you bonus effects inside of a deep dungeon. Every time you open a gold chest, there's a chance to receive a second, pomander, or to receive a duplicate pomander, or to receive a second of a different kind of pomander. When you open a silver chest, the chance to instantly activate to what's it called is given to you on top of looting one. Maybe increases the number of spoils that you obtain from the hordes whenever you do find them, or occasionally upon entering a floor, it grants you the intuition effect without having to use a pomander. I think having equipment that gives those style of things would make going back and doing it weekly more and more fun. And then in order to preserve the floor 100 solo achievements for any subsequent deep dungeons, you just do something like add an option that you can toggle that says disables any special effect equipment from being used. And then the achievement is solo from floors 1 to 100 without any special effect equipment being used. And bam, you have an option for that as well. So I think that those types of fun things that make doing the deep dungeon over and over again more fun should be kind of the focus, and putting those things in quantum, I think, is a good way of motivating raiders to kind of interact with both of the systems, while giving people who might just only be getting into the deep dungeon a little bit more motivation to get to 100 and maybe try something out that they otherwise maybe wouldn't have. And then, actual power as well, things that would actually make you feel more powerful. A chance to turn a negative effect votive into a positive effect, or anything of the sort. I don't know. Those are just a few ideas, but I think you get the point. But I think that that's what they need to do. I don't know if the variable difficulty really helps in that regard. I still think that just having 2 or 3 difficulties logically works fine. Next question. Hello there. I've heard your cries about how Square Enix refuses to use the obvious reward of gear, and I heard on the 7.35 State of the Realm the opinion that having BIS comes from something like Q40 would drive some people crazy. Well, having BIS come from 4-man difficult content. Like, I saw people that said, oh no, if they put new gear in Criterion, I would hate that because then I would need to farm it for BIS. It's like, don't you want to play the game? Like, don't you want a reward at the end of it? Do you know how many people I saw? It's not even just Q40. It's the idea of content that isn't Savage having new best in slot loot for some reason really upsets a subset of raiders. I don't know why. Like, it genuinely baffles the mind. If Q40 had like an ultimate style weapon with 3 materia slots, I don't think anyone would really care. I mean, that worked for Criterion Savage anyway. But yeah, it does. It drives some people crazy. But do you think this would be a way to make ethereal pink gear come back? No. Pink gear with Final Fantasy XIV system is exceptionally not fun because it's literally just rolling on substats. It's not rolling on anything interesting. Like, there's no like bonus effects. It's not like rolling on, pieces of loot in like Path of Exile or Diablo, and I think a lot of people don't want it to be that way, and I kind of agree with them. I think if something has an effect, it's better for it to just drop with that effect intact, and that to be the end of it. So I don't think this is any opportunity for pink gears to come back, and I don't think they should really be exploring that option. My cats are going crazy. I'm trying to record this video, and my cats are just constantly interrupting. I have already re-recorded this twice now, and on the same point into it. Bacon, stop knocking things over, my guy. Okay, next question. Hashtag Mondays with Mrhappy. Hello. Hi. No question, but wanted to correct. Well, then I'm moving on because I only have time for questions right now. Generally, the hashtag is for questions. So if it's just comments, sometimes I find out about it after the fact. But it's generally better if that's not the case, because, I'm trying to make sure that I get to enough people's questions, and I don't want to, bloat that up. So generally for just comments, you just leave a comment, and I'll likely see it no matter what. Hashtag Mondays with Mrhappy. Hey, yo, Haps, hi, and a handful of extras in case any were missed. For the 3rd Final Fantasy Alliance raid tier, how likely would it be to see Pandemonium Warden as one of the 4 bosses, or is the boss not notorious enough to be a possible choice? Unlikely, incredibly unlikely, for one key reason. That boss represents Final Fantasy XI's lowest point in terms of its public image and the depravity of the systems around it. That boss is only well known because it was reported on by major news outlets and websites about how players were getting sick and passing out while attempting to fight this boss for 20 plus hours. Like, yes, Absolute Virtue has a very similar kind of reputation, but it wasn't headline news. And I don't think they want to pull that into Final Fantasy XIV and pay any homage to it, because it does not represent Final Fantasy XI as something good. It represents it as something unhealthy and unliked. So it would actually be a terrible idea to do that. I can't say it won't happen. There's totally the option they could. It is a very well-known boss, and thus putting it in could be, maybe they can poke fun at themselves with it. I just don't think it would. I wouldn't make it a priority, personally. I think there are far more influential and well-remembered encounters they have not used yet that would be better options as a whole. Next one. Hello, I've seen the Dawn Trail encounter design be lauded as exceptional. As someone who generally doesn't do higher end stuff, I fail to really identify anything significantly different from earlier content aside from bigger and faster AoEs and the occasional return to things like ads. What in your opinion would you say are the things that makes the encounter design so different this expansion opposed to everything before? Following up on the bigger and faster AoEs, do you think that hurts caster playstyle, all the added movement we've gotten? If you're a caster main, it's not a problem. Summoner doesn't really have any casting times. Black Mage has an insane amount of mobility. Red Mage has gotten a lot better in the mobility department as well. And And then Picto just never had issues with it. So no, I don't think anyone who's a caster, who's a lifelong caster, has any issues with any of these encounters. And two, a lot of it is the way that these encounters are designed, fundamentally, what they ask of the player, their involvement with the environment, and very fight-specific feeling things. For a while in Endwalker, even if fights had a theme, it ultimately boiled down to, spread then stack, in then out, and that's it. Now, it's not like they don't do that, but they focus a lot more on how you play with the environment and having to learn visuals that are boss exclusive, while also giving you actual sort of coordinated efforts that require a lot more individual play, a lot more specific natures of how you use the arena. So we're basically playing with the environment a lot more than we did before, on top of actually asking for different skills coming from the player, the ad management, CC, things like that. So there's a lot more of the player's individual skill that's being called into effect because of the way mechanics are being put together, that makes them far more engaging and actually produces better players without being an overwhelming disaster, like something like a Gordius or a Midas may be. So there's been a lot of things that have come out of this. And more than anything, a lot of them have just been really fun. They've been just really well paced. They have a lot of variety within the encounter itself. But I think the environment is really the biggest thing that they've been using to their best effect. Oh my goodness, Bacon, stop chasing Ivy. Why are you doing this right now? This is what I get for trying to record at 1 in the morning. Hey, Bacon. Hey, stop running around so much. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Haps. Hello. Hi. Hope you're doing all right and having a good, Saturday? Monday. Monday at 1 a.m. Looking for a static for 7.4 Savage Arcadian Heavyweight. If I were to go for a week 1 clear and really push myself, can you talk about the week 1 clearing experience and expectations and considerations I should have going into it? Will my limited and not so great track record in the logs be an obstacle in finding a good group to run with? Let's see. First through. What is Sly Static? I don't know what Sly Static is. I think it's like got shit to do because they don't have a lot of time to raid, basically. So it's like they have more important things to do. They just play when they can. So let me address the question. I'll start backwards. If your logs are not good and you don't have a solid track record of defeated encounters, that will limit the amount of groups that show a prolonged interest. Some may still give you a chance, even with that. In terms of trying out to see how mechanically consistent you are. But if there's too many flaws in your gameplay, then that will majorly negatively impact, because they're going to be testing you on fights that are very, very current, and we should outgear them very heavily. So as such, your play will no longer be determined by who was fed a bunch of gear week 1 or any extra factors that would come from like an early week 1 experience. They're judging you based on how everyone who's cleared the fight, since it came out, and especially in the last several months, has done it. And can you do the mechanics, and can you do your attacks at the same time? Will you be a liability? And the worse your logs are, the harder it is to overcome that, I suppose, is the best way to put it. As for week 1 clear experience and expectations, the first time you go for a week 1 clear, don't expect to get a week 1 clear. Most groups going for their first ever week 1 clear are not successful. That could be because people don't really understand what they've signed up for, and that they have to really be dedicated, they have to be healthy, they have to be focused, they have to be willing to work as a team, and they can't be selfish. And a lot of the times egos and actual motivations tend to clash on a fresh week 1 group. So I would say the first time you go for week 1, don't expect to get week 1. Your job is to do your best to set up for future raid tiers and future teams and future situations where you can find people that more match your motivations. And you may also find out during that same first week 1 experience that it doesn't really matter as much to you as you maybe thought it was going in. You could be on that side of it the entire time. So the expectation is to look for the group that you want that's doing that. Go in, but do not go in with the expectation you will actually achieve that. Go in with that as the goal and be willing to accept something like a week 2 clear. That's your best bet in terms of expectation. But you need to be on your A game for week 1 clears. Because if you are anything less, and if anyone in the group is anything less, it really starts to kill motivation, and that's when the week 1 itself disappears. So as long as you can have fun and stay motivated at the same time, that'll usually do the trick. Hashtag Monday with Mr. Happy. Hi. Hope all's well. You too. If you participated in it, what do you think of the Fractal Finder Guild Wars 2 recently added? Didn't bother. Guild Wars 2 is one of those games. full of ideas I like, but in execution I have a really hard time committing to. I don't like fractals. I don't like gearing for agony resist. I feel like if they got rid of agony resist and they just made gradually scaling difficulty fractals that didn't involve agony resist, I would probably enjoy them a lot more. But Guild Wars 2 has a motivation problem for me in that I effectively get to max level, buy the best gear, and then it's just getting ascendants at that point. And that's like, you buy the almost best gear, and then you just get ascendants, and you're kind of almost set. Like, there's little things you can get from bosses that are valuable and useful for prog. Bacon, please. Why are you being such a chaos gremlin at this time? Yeah, I generally have a hard time caring for anything in Guild Wars 2 past the initial experience of doing it once, which is why every time I start to try to play it, even if I'm like, oh yeah, this is really interesting, I can't stick with it. I'm not motivated by anything at all in Guild Wars 2, because it's like once I do it once, like there's genuinely almost no motivation for me to do it a second time, because I don't find open world events to be fun enough to do every 2 to 3 hours. Especially with no actual goal in mind, like other than like Octavine and a couple of other ones that actually have hyper valuable rewards that are really good for the player locked behind them, and stuff. So no, I didn't even give the Fractal Finder any of my attention. It didn't seem worth it, because I don't think the fractals are worth it. And when I check out Visions, it's going to largely be to see how fun the classes are to play and to get that initial experience of exploring the Visions world, like exploring the zone and seeing what they do with it. But I just doing anything after that just doesn't seem worth it in Guild Wars 2. It's really like it's like Final Fantasy XIV's one-time experience, but like even less, if that makes sense. Bacon, get down. I'm doing an edit in the video. I don't know what Bacon is doing at this time of the night. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Good day, Mr. Happy. Good day. Hope your day is well. Well, my morning's going hilariously at this point. You know, I don't know if anyone's ever said this, but I have a hot take for daily queues in case people have always complained about the constant Crystal Tower Alexander series, that at the end of the expansion, all lines and normal raids should be unlocked for all players. If you ever queue into the raid or get it in your dailies, and pop up after the fight can show up saying, hey, did you enjoy the fight? Check out the amazing story here. It's an optional guide that shows you where you can start the story. No. That doesn't. No. I'm just going to move on. My thought is no. That's not motivating to people at all. That does not have the intended effect that you think it has in any capacity. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Hey, Happy. Hi. Hope you're having a great day. With the Monster Hunter Wilds collab, it was cool they gave a reason to farm the normal mode by giving a weapon coffer with every clear while still giving the tokens for minions, housing, etc. However, I've had multiple people ask what's the point of Extreme, even though it gives pity for the mount and upgrade token for the weapons. How many players have been so afraid of doing harder content? I mean, people have always been afraid of doing harder content in every expansion. This could be pushed into our normal raids without cannibalizing Extreme participation. I don't see any reason to. If the players aren't motivated to do Extreme, then they won't do Extreme. Any player who does want to do Extreme for those rewards will do it for those rewards. And that's how it's always been. The difference is now the normal mode actually has something decent. But if somebody looks at the 745 weapons and goes, I don't need item level, I just want a cool Monster Hunter looking weapon, cool. And if they don't want the reward, the cart, or they don't want to farm it, then so be it. They clearly don't want that. So they have every reason to go, well, why would I do Extreme? Well, they have no motivation to do it because the rewards do not motivate them. And if a player is afraid of doing harder content, they will also look for any reason not to do harder content. Like, they will find reasons to say why they shouldn't be doing that harder content. What's it called? So what's the point of the Extreme? Yeah, no, I mean, people who generally don't do harder content always ask what the point of harder content is. And that's because they're strictly not motivated by experience. They're actually not motivated by anything, oddly enough. Like, they don't seek a tougher challenge. They don't seek rare rewards. They seek what is obtainable, and that's just it for them. And I don't think you can really change that about them. And so, okay, but the question is, can they do this with normal raids? Technically, yes, but I would argue this. We don't need more weapons. We need more armor. So if they are going to do that, do armor, not weapons. That's all. All right, next question. Greetings, Mr. Happy. Have an extra hello in case someone forgot. Sounds good. Also, you doing all right? I'm doing all right. If I may ask what a moment of your time to answer a few questions, that would be greatly appreciated. Sure. Do you think there will ever come a time where the Warrior of Light will be displayed as a healer in the official trailer artwork media? No. I don't think they look cool. Unless they have a healer that's like super weird, that like looks really cool and flashy. Probably not. 2, when FanFest opens up and the 12 graces you with the ability to actually purchase tickets, is there a maximum number? I don't know if that's been consistent. Normally, I think you can buy up to 2 tickets as one person who wins the lottery. So it's you and a +1. I don't think you can ever do more than that. So I think it's 2. But I'd have to double check and see if that's consistent, because they may have done more than that in the past. I just don't have the recollection of it, especially not right now. And 3, potential nonsense question. Whenever people bring up DPS numbers among the jobs, why do they always talk about DPS jobs? Maybe the tank jobs, but never the healers. If healer damage is supposed to matter, why does no one? Healers absolutely care about their output. This is simply you haven't been exposed to it. But healer analysis on damage output is very exacting, because they need to see how few GCDs they can get that are healing GCDs. Some people take it to a big extreme, and it can actually become a bit of an annoying point. But trust me, there's plenty of healer DPS discussion when it comes to FF logs analysis. There's a lot of it. Let's see. Good morning, Haps. You doing all right? How did you know it was morning for me? I was joking about old weapon skills with friends the other day, and it made me wonder if there are any old weapon skills you think the devs could reasonably reintroduce into the game. Listen, we got wide volley. Just let me use it instead of shadow bite. All right. I'd like to see arrow 3 on white mage or fracture on warrior. I mean, the answer is yes, but the real question is there a reason to? Is there a functional gameplay reason why they would like fracture could be introduced as something you use every minute, and it puts a dot, and suddenly you have it back. Butcher's Block, they could introduce that. They could just, I don't know, they could just use that animation for something and just give them another skill that looks like Butcher's Block. Like, the answer is always yes, but will they? There's no reason to expect them to, is really what it comes down to. Anything. Like, people want arrow 3 back on white mage. Sure, it probably wouldn't be arrow 3. It would probably be something else now, but could they? Sure. Are they likely to? Not. History has not given us reason to believe, I don't think. Hello and good day to you. Hope your week has been alright. Hope your week's been alright too. So I have 2 questions today. First relates to your platinum series. What's your trophy percent with 14? I had the platinum, but I don't have 100% like all trophies, because I don't play on PlayStation. Like, I have to actually like do the things and then log into PlayStation. And then there's also just a few activities I wouldn't have done. But it's pretty high. But I have the platinum trophy. I have every mainline game's platinum trophies at this point. It's only the side games that I don't have. I did also get tactics, by the way. Second is a quick one, but I've always wondered, what is your / playtime on 14? I don't know. I don't leave Final Fantasy 14 like up. And like, I don't like Final Fantasy 11. I would just leave online. Like, I would go to school, leave it up. Go to sleep, leave it up. I log out at Final Fantasy 14. So I generally don't have as much time as people think. I know people who started playing after me who have more time. They just never log out. I think it's like 900 something days. Maybe it's a little more than 1,000, but I know people with more than that. So not as much as you might think. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Hello. Hi. I finished the Trails remake and saw you finish as well. What was your favorite part of the game? Favorite part? I don't know. All of Trails in the Sky first chapter is pretty straightforward. I think the end is the only part that kind of breaks pattern and has like an actual like highlight moment. And that's because it's also leading into second chapter. But I will say that at the very least, I could not stomach getting through the original first chapter. I thought that the pace was too slow. I thought the writing was not inherently well paced. I had not very good feelings about first chapter. First chapter remake fixed a lot of that. And a lot of that has to do with the pacing of the battles compared to the pacing of the story. So everything feels a lot more fluid and works really well. I will play second chapter, but I'm not playing it until second chapter remake. Unless somebody pays me a lot of money, I am not going through the old Trails games, and I'm also not playing them out of order. So when second chapter remake comes out, I will give people the opportunity to get me to play the original final chapter. And if not, I will wait for final chapter remake, and that will be the end of it, because that is how I've decided to progress through that. Next one, hello times 10 for anyone who misses. In Fork Tower Blood, dead stars needs to be defeated, and all 3 of them need to reach 0.1%. However, our group can consistently defeat them long before fireballs, usually sometime between the second Delta attack and around the line attack. Yep. We still have to do the full fireball mechanic. Do you think that's an oversight? No, it means they wanted you to do all of those mechanics. That's simply the way it's designed. It's not an oversight. They deliberately wanted you to have to do every mechanic in that fight at least once, except for the final enrage sequence. Which is something that's meant to kind of test you and like catch you off guard, and that's it. We're just so giga geared and ready to destroy those bosses that we have to sit through the extra bit there. Next one, hey Mr. Happy, hi. If Square Enix announces a remaster or a port of 13, I really want them to. With some additional quality of life systems, what do you think should be added? Party leader dying should not be a game over. For the love of God, don't do that. Oh man, I went through this with my stream when I platinumed it, because there's definitely a few things that I'd like to see them do. There's probably a few things they can do to fix up the Crystarium. There's probably some more, we went through all of these. It's too late for me to do it. The party leader dying leading to a game over. Yeah, that's an obvious one. I think the weapon upgrade system could definitely use some quality of life as well. Actually, yeah, guild drop at the end of battles. Yeah, I think I brought that up with them as well. Yeah, honestly, everything they did in the second and third games, just do it in the first game. Honestly, they fixed most of these problems in the second and third games. Just roll it back. Testing my luck on a Monday night because maybe Happy is late in recording. Wait. This was asked 6 days ago. Oh, no. Okay, right. I forgot. I skipped last week because I was at PAX. Good call. Good call. I was confused. I was like, but wait, this video would have been... It wasn't. It was posted 2 weeks ago. This person didn't even have a hashtag. I just read that out loud. So you got my attention with that at the very least. Let's see. Proper question. What do you think of the chances that with 8.0, we see some sort of proper social improvement? Mutual deletion from friends list. They said they were working on a big friends list update after the blacklist. So not unlikely, but the blacklist update didn't go so great. So we'll see. Next one. Hey, Haps, with the launch of Blue Protocol going near flawlessly, based on our personal experience, you plan to play the game. So I wanted to play it. It came out at a really bad time because I was playing the new patch for 14, making content for the new patch for 14, traveling to PAX, coming back, Guild Wars 2 coming out, Dragon Quest coming out. It literally couldn't have picked a worse time. It didn't go flawlessly. The game worked. But there are some things about the game that are not so well received. Things that didn't bother me too much, but yeah, I don't see that game surviving super long. We'll see. We'll see. Let's see. The next one, how is TwitchCon? I'm not going back, I don't think. Just put it that way. Let's see. Hey, how you doing? How's the cat doing? I wish Ivy would stop hissing at Cinnamon so I could let her out of here. She's right here. You can't see her. She's behind the microphone. I've seen people complain about job homogenization. While I acknowledge it is a problem, I always thought people severely exaggerate it. Yeah, I feel like when I play every different job, I often do feel like I'm playing something else. I feel like the way my skills interact is indeed different from the way my skills interact on most other jobs, even for the jobs that have some similarities. I do think that they could make some jobs feel less streamlined in the same exact way. Viper and Reaper are great examples of that, where I feel like they're too similarly streamlined, even if they still have a slightly different feeling. Warrior and Dark Knight's always been a common one, although Dark Knight's 8 p.m. definitely makes me remember that I'm playing Dark Knight. But I think it's the way that we access power that largely feels too similar across jobs. The fact that there's buff windows and that there's 1 minute and 2 minutes, that I've always seen as like not a great way to say that jobs are too similar, because we asked for that and we got it and we just kind of regret it a little bit. But they don't inherently change the way it feels to actually do the 2 minutes, or set up for the 2 minutes, or set up for the 1 minute, or do your 1 minute. And every job is a different type of 1 minute. Some jobs are really simple and some jobs are a little more involved, and there's all that. So I don't know, I've always felt that is a little overblown, but that doesn't mean that people can't feel that way. I just feel like you're right. I agree. It's definitely a little overblown. And I think that was indeed the last question for this week's Q&A. So Now, hopefully I'll be tired enough to go to sleep. So that is going to be a wrap for this video. Thanks again to Magic Spoon for sponsoring. Be sure to ask your questions in the comment section of the video below, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, take care.